So usually me as a normal human being, well, I mean, functioning human being would be pushing it, but as a normal person, of course I browse the internet and I look at Instagram because I look for the funny memes, but sometimes um you know, this guide or a guide shows up in my Instagram feed for Genshin characters or Genshin teams. And in this case, I saw like a Raiden national team guide, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, it's bad, but whatever. That's not the point. When I look at it, I see the thing where it says like downside. This team requires a lot of investment, and that's basically wrong because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Investment is not a straight. Sorry, it's not a clear line of what investment is because your investment on characters or artifacts really depend, and because artifacts are of course RNG. Do you get a good artifact, or do you get like 10 trash artifacts that you realize you wasted your time with? And so here's the thing, because characters are so hard to gear, what makes something a good investment? So a good investment for a character or a team would be a character that you could slot in literally any other team that you want, provided they can actually use the character. For example, what's a prime example? No, it's called Sing Cho. You thought I'd pick Bennett, huh? No, Sing Cho is probably the greatest character in this game. Okay, he's a definitive S tier character because you can use him in literally any other team, any team that you want that uses normal attacks. Because of course, Xingqiu with his elemental burst applies Hydro off field, and you could either use that for Dendro reactions, or you could use that to Vapor Hoot out, bruh. But the thing is that because you can use him in so many other teams, investing in Sing Cho would be far better than, say, investing in Faruzan. If you have Faruzan, think about how many teams you can put her in. Shao and Wonder hypercarry, literally two teams, basically one archetype. Animal hypercarry. You can't use her in anywhere else. So if you gear Faruzan to like, I don't know, 350% energy recharge and like a decent crit rate, crit damage, but when you're gearing Faruzan, you're not gonna get much mileage out of her because you're not gonna use her in any other team other than Animal Hypercarry. You're not gonna use her in a Dendro team. You're not gonna use her as a swirl applicator like Sucrose or Kazuha. So like, why she wouldn't be a good investment? And that would be the same for Shao and Scaramouche. They don't really have any other team other than like Animal Hypercarry. So if their performance is not up to par, well, it's pretty much a dead end. But someone like Xingqiu has maintained his relevancy for such a long time because he can enable vaporize, he can enable I guess he can enable freeze, but no, but he can enable vaporize, he can enable bloom and hyper bloom in Dendro. He can also do, of course, taser, electro charge, and not to mention his kit is very useful. He has damage reduction, and he has what does it say where he gets stagger resistance? Increases character's resistance to interruption. Yeah, and resistance to interruption is, well, if you play Yoimiya, you know how important it is. But like, yeah, you can just slot him wherever you want, and you don't get the same value out of, say, like Goro, Yunjin or Faruzan. Not only does Xingqiu beat them in teams, but he also beats them in gear. What do you need to gear Xingqiu? Oh, I hate this domain. Emblem of Severed Fate. Why? Well, when you farm for Emblem Severed Fate, who do you gear? Raiden, Xingqiu, Beidou, technically Keqing because I put Emblem on Keqing. Um, Shangling, Yalan, literally any burst, any character who uses their elemental burst. Not to mention, oh god, Shimenawa's Reminiscence, which is an 18% attack on a 2 set, which is very useful if you don't have the 4 set and can be used as a temporary solution to characters that scale off attack. Let's look at Geo for example. Geo would be, I would say, a bad example of, sorry, a good example of a really, really bad investment. Why? Well, when you look at the Husk, it only benefits defense scaling characters, none of which are characters outside of Geo. Literally, only Geo characters use defense for scaling. Well, Xinyan, but no one uses Xinyan. But what else do you get from the Husk domain? You get a crap artifact set. This is not good. If you think 10,000 damage per second is good, you're way far behind. But yeah, when you're talking about investment, you shouldn't look at like the upfront investment costs. Like, should I should I make this more nerd? Okay, let me speak nerd for a little bit. So when you're buying a CPU for your computer, you have two options: Intel and AMD. But the thing that makes AMD a better option than Intel is that at the time, AMD's AM4 platform, which was released like, I don't know, like 5 years ago. Wait, 2017. That's when they released their first generation of Ryzen, right? So hypothetically, you can go from first gen Ryzen to a Ryzen 5800X 3D, which is incredibly competitive with today's processors, got like new processors like the Ryzen 7000. But the thing is that Ryzen 7000 needs a new socket. You can go from like, you have one, two, three, four. You have 4 generations of CPU in one socket. Like the difference in a 1700X 8 core to a 5800X 3D or even a 5950X is like from an 8 core that was slightly worse than Intel at the time to literally the best in the market, and you go up to like 16 cores, which is insanity, and that's from literally one socket. So but Intel, the CPU that they make, they only work on one socket. So when you want to go from say 10th gen to 11th gen, you gotta get a new board. So minor correction, 10th gen is actually compatible with 11th gen. uh I made that mistake just because like I thought like because I remembered 11th gen being really, really bad. Yeah, basically. I mean, I don't think anyone cares about this, but like still an error. So yeah. And if you go to like 13th gen, you gotta get a new board. It's so dumb. And that's the same thing. That's like Xingqiu. Okay, Xingqiu is like the AM4 socket. You can literally use one character in multiple other teams. Someone like Shao, you gotta get another upgrade. If then you like same thing with Yoimiya. You use Yoimiya, you gotta upgrade to a new character because well, Yoimiya is not a good character. But like someone like Nahida too, very much a mainstay. You're gonna use her in every Dendro team. So yeah, and that's basically like value. Like yes, it's important to like look at the upfront cost of a character, of what you need to gear them with, but it's also very important to keep in mind how long the character can last and will stay relevant. because of course this is a gacha. MiHoYo isn't exactly there to be your friend and they're gonna give you the best value. No, they wanna bleed as much money out of you as much as possible. And my word of advice is that you only pull characters that you really like, or you pull characters that you think will last you a long time. But yeah, MiHoYo's main goal is to make you to spend money. And if you're getting characters that are like outclassed, like literally the next patch or whatever, it's like don't do that. Like don't be tempted to spend money on this like garbage game. And yeah. Why did I play the game? Oh, I like the combat, but still, yeah. Yeah, see y'all later. Bye.